ratchet one time? Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft? All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to excuse me.
Good evening out there, great lands and lands. Welcome to the MCU's Bleeding Edge. There's a little get you started there for you, a little Joe Biden for you. Anyways,
what did he say? What exactly did he say America stands for, Cyber? I wasn't able to make that out.
I don't think that was a word, sir.
Oh, okay.
I thought he said DD mega doo-doo.
Something like that, too. Who knows?
Still my favorite.
Anyways, folks, welcome to the MCU's Bleeding Edge. We're live Friday night, July 5th, to discuss the 1999 film, The Mystery Men. Now, if you're not familiar with Mystery Men, it is a superhero comedy film based off of a comic. It is loosely based on the comic and derives many things from it, but definitely a lot of improv in this film, as from what I've registered and read and stuff like that. You know, a lot of the big stars in this did a lot of improv for this film, so that's why it's a lot more comedy than superhero, if you're not familiar with that. But this is I think, a fantastic film. I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed watching it, rewatching it, all that kind of good stuff. So I think that it's a fun film to talk about. Great cast, too. Really fun cast. So we're going to get into talking about that here soon. But yeah, so this was released August 6th of 1999. It was actually filmed back in October of 98. They actually finished filming in April of 99. So it was only a couple months before they actually had finished it. Originally, they thought that it was only going to be about a 3-month shoot, 2-month shoot. Ended up turning into 6 months because of all the improving. And, this was actually the directorial debut of the director named Kinka Usher. This is the only film he has directed. And, with how badly it was, it did box office wise, I can see why, unfortunately. But this has become considered one of those classics that has got a really big cult following over the years, in the last, 25 years. And, Kinka Usher actually originally did commercials and music videos. That's what he did as a director. He actually directed all that kind of good stuff. So, that's kind of, why I feel there's quite a few scenes in this film that seem very commercial and even video, music video like. So I feel there's a lot of those attributes throughout the film, very similar. So this film stars, of course, Ben Stiller, Janine Garofalo, William H. Macy, Hank Azaria, Claire Florani, who we all know Jeff loves. He does. And also stars, of course, great other, many actors.
Don't leave out Pee Wee, man.
I won't. I'm not. Will you let me get to it, sir? Paul Rubens, Mr. Pee Wee Herman, rest his soul. Such a great actor. It's so sad he's gone. Of course, Kel Mitchell from, the Good Burger films and Kel Mitchell on Nickelodeon and all that. We also have the hilarious cameos by several people throughout the film as well. We'll talk about those later.
Sorry, did you hear Jasmine in the comment section? Welcome to the MCU's Bleeding Edge, Gunner, as if this is Gunner's first show with us.
Well, that's
I'm retro.
Mr. Rathakat, Gunner has done more shows on the Bleeding Edge, sir, than you'll ever be able to catch up and even get to the level that he's done, I think.
There you go, folks.
That's cool, though. Hey, man, I've been back. I'm back, though. I've been away.
That's how long you've been gone, dude. People forgot that you were a part of the organization.
My suspension for talking bad about Batman has been lifted.
That's hilarious. Just a busy man. That's what we'll say. You didn't have any bands, sir. But anyways, so going around the panel, let's just kind of get your guys' first impressions. When was the first time you watched it? And did you rewatch it, or was this your first time watching it? Starting with you, Andres.
Okay. So, I knew about Mystery Man. This is my first time watching the film old time. I seen clips of it. So, yeah, it's one of those iconic 90s movies that I think everyone has heard of. Yeah, very excited to talk about it.
Okay. Gunner?
Man, I have loved this movie since day one. I saw it opening night in the theater. I'm a huge Bill Macy fan, huge Hank Azaria fan. Paul Rubin, Pee Wee Herman was my hero growing up. I've loved this movie since day one. It is so underrated. It is so far ahead of its time. People don't realize how ahead of its time it is. And I'll talk about all that today. Amazing cast. Great cameos, like you said. Ricky Jay. Who doesn't love Ricky Jay? But I'm so excited. I can't wait to talk about this movie.
Excellent. Good to have a fan in the audience, in the chat with us here to talk about it. Excellent. Jeff, we all know your thoughts, your thoughts on your first watch, sir, because this was your first watch, correct?
Today, yes. I found the movie to be very hard. It was hard to stay engaged with it at times, and that made it to where it became discombobulated for me, to where like I lost focus on what the hell was going on with the story at times, kind of, right? Like some of the shit just seemed bizarre to me, and the humor just doesn't work. This is probably the worst Ben Stiller film I've ever seen. I think this is his worst one. I mean, you could see it. You could see his comedy chops in the film, and you can see bits of his humor and his comedy that he's used in other movies, right? Like certain things he's done, certain styles of humor and jokes he's used. You can see him using them in this movie, but they're not quite flushed out yet, and they just don't work for me. So he just wasn't funny for me at all in the movie, and I like Ben Stiller usually. He didn't do anything for me, his character in this one. He didn't have any chemistry with Claire Filoni at all. None, I thought. And in real life, it's completely unimaginable that Claire Filoni would fuck Ben Stiller's character. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would never happen. He's too much of a pussy and so too insecure. But I think probably part of the problem is that who he's bouncing his jokes off of. The humor, who it's being, he's involving it with. And I just don't feel like the ensemble that they put together for this movie really works all that cohesively, to be completely honest with you, like as a team.
I have many disagreements with that. We'll get to it though.
That's okay. All I'll say is I think Jean Garofalo was probably the best spot of the film for me. She was probably the best character, and that's not good for any movie that you have going on. If Jean Garofalo is running the show.
Well, the thing about this, and I'm sorry to cut in, so I hope you don't mind, but why I think this movie is so much like a Marvel movie is, honestly, I think they picked such a great cast. And the reason why is they went out and got Ben Stiller, who was the biggest star in the world at the time. This was right after Something About Mary, a year or so after Something About Mary. Biggest star in the world. Janine Garofalo and him were dating a while ago. They were in tons of movies together. So bringing her in, she was also gigantic at this time. This was the height of her career. And then you got William H. Macy, who was kind of, he was in Fargo. He's not a comedian guy, but he was so perfectly cast. Hank Azaria. Who knew who Hank Azaria was unless you watched The Simpsons? No one knew Hank Azaria. They brought back Pee Wee Herman. You got Kel Mitchell from Good Burger. Wes Studa. The mystery.
This is that first time on the Bleeding Edge, like, excitement right there, Cyber. Andres, you know what I'm saying? You see it?
Movie, man. But I think they pick such a perfect cast down to all these little parts too. But just looking at the mystery men, Tom freaking Waits. How great was Tom Waits in this movie? And Captain, I'm talking about the Mystery Man. It was perfectly casted with giant stars to bring in the money and just perfect people for that role. When William H. Macy tells his wife, probably my favorite character in the movie, his reason for doing this, I shovel well. I shovel very well. It's genius. Like William, no one else could pull off that role like William H. Macy.
Captain Amazing was well cast. That was a good casting. That's all I'm going to say. End of. I throw to you, Cyber.
All right, good to have Gunner back. The Hammer. I can see the excitement for this movie. It's so nice to see that. I very rarely get that. I feel on the panel here sometimes. Some of the movies I pick, or with other movies that we go through, I don't feel that passion, and I can feel it from Gunner. It's pulsating through the camera, sir. So great to have you here.
I tried to make Magnolia. I'll crush Magnolia. That's one of my other favorites of all time. What a crush.
Excellent. That we were going to do that film a couple weeks ago, but we ended up passing.
I was going to try and get on, but I couldn't make it on that weekend.
Yeah. All right. Great job, guys. Excellent. Very well done. So like we were saying, Mystery Men was really well cast. Huge stars at the time. Huge stars. Hank Azaria actually had just started becoming big because he had just done The Birdcage a couple years prior. And then he did Godzilla from 1998, which was the year prior as well, that made him a bigger star too, because everyone loved that character in Godzilla. Even though a lot of people had issues with how Godzilla looked and all that, but still he was a big star in that. So he was becoming big at that time. And with all that star power, you think this would have done really great at the box office. But on a $68 million budget, which cost to make this film, they only made $33.5 million when it opened. $12
million of that was from me from other times.
Probably. Which I was really shocked. I did not realize how badly this did at the box office. I did not know it only did half of what it cost to make, which is too bad. But with the critics, it was funny. With the critics at the time, it was a big success. Like a lot of the critics loved it and all this kind of stuff. So I'm really shocked at how poorly it did financially with such a great cast. So I think that's really interesting. Basically, if you're not familiar with the film, like I said, it's basically a superhero comedy that is derived from a comic. And we are given all these great characters. We're given the Shoveler, the Blue Raja, Mr. Furious, the Sphinx. We got Baby Bowler. We got the Spleen, the Invisible Boy, and so forth. We got all these great characters, which are hilarious in themselves. Just the thought of taking like a superhero and making their name the Spleen. That cracked me the hell up, because I was like cracking up thinking to myself, I'm like, the Spleen? Out of all the names you can think of, the Spleen. But as we saw in a great scene in the film, there's all these different types of odd name heroes, and you're just kind of like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Especially with this comic book itself, if you ever check it out, it's one of those very bizarre considered type of dark comics that takes you way out of the elements and changes the superhero genre altogether. Now, like Gunnar was saying, the MCU feel for this film, I get what he's talking about, because it does. It's very much kind of like a build-up film. You're kind of introduced to the characters. You kind of find out their powers. Then they have to go up against the big baddie. So it's kind of that same formula, and I get that. So like I was saying, this movie is just, I think, great from beginning to end. Lots of great comedic moments, lots of great action, great soundtrack too as well. Kel Mitchell actually did a song for the film too as well. He's on the album for the film. If you get the Blu-ray or the 4K of it, his music video is on the Blu-ray and 4K. Check it out. Definitely. It's a great music video, great song. Basically, the movie kind of starts off. We're introduced to the Mystery Men, Ben Stiller, William H. Macy, and Hank Azaria. But before we go any further, drinking words now in effect. We gotta remember we're doing the drinking game, people. So the drinking games tonight is anything Ben Stiller, anything Roy. I'm Roy. I'm Roy. Then we have other great drinking words: Casanova Frankenstein, Captain Amazing, any version of Casanova Frankenstein, Casanova, Frankenstein, any of that version. Claire Florani, Champion City, and Superheroes. Those are your drinking words tonight. So anytime those are mentioned from now on, you must drink. All right. So like I was saying, we're introduced to the Mystery Men. And we are given our first villains of the film, which are the Red Eyes, who happens to be cameoed, the lead Red Eye, of course, is Mr. Artie Lang. Now, if you're not familiar with Artie Lang, he's a comedian. He was on Mad TV. He was also in the films Beer League and Dirty Work. He's a fantastic comedian, super funny.
Stern for years.
Yep, he was. He's a fantastic comedian. It was so funny seeing him in this cameo role in this. This is also the first time we get our kind of thoughts on Tom Waits' character, which is an absolutely hilarious character. And who would have thought that Tom Waits could act like he does? Because I remember after he was in this, he was in a whole bunch of films through the early 2000s, and like just all these kind of little bit roles that were just kind of funny characters. And I just remember thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, musician to actor, he really does, he can do it. He can act. He's super funny too. I think he's got a great comedic style to him. He's very funny.
I'm here for the ladies. I don't live here. I'm here for the ladies.
Yeah. Yep. And his character is absolutely hilarious. Very funny. So we get that introduction scene at the old folks home. We get introduced to Captain Amazing. Oh, drink. Who's played by Greg Kinnear.
I heard Jesus.
And we have a whole bunch of great little bit action going on with the Red Eyes and the Mystery Man fighting each other. After Captain Amazing pops up, finally he takes care of them. He does it in 5 seconds, which is super funny. The suit that Captain Amazing's wearing. Oh, Drake, twice. Is absolutely funny. It's covered in all kinds of promos and logos of different companies, his sponsors and stuff like that. Almost like he's a race car driver, which is super funny. So I think that was great. That was a great add to his character. I think Greg Kinnear did a great job with the character. And we get our first kind of taste of his character at this moment and just how he is with the characters and stuff like that. And it's just a super funny, kind of idea of just where this character is going. And, kind of what this type of character, as the type of character they are, basically kind of how they would react if they had all those types of promotions and people paying them to, sponsor them and stuff like that. And kind of, they would be kind of like that asshole kind of character. So I think that's really funny. Anyways. Yes, Middle-Aged Tim, the shoveler is where it's at, yo. Welcome to the chat, Mr. Middle-Aged Tim. Great to have you in the chat, sir. Good job. Glad to see you, sir. Anyways, so basically we get that beginning scene where we have all that great action, some great comedy going on, introduction to some great characters, which leads us into when, Captain leaves, gets into his limo, and he's in there with his publicist, and basically they have a conversation, where he finds out that he's lost Pepsi's endorsement, and, that kind of crime and stuff like that is not really working really well for him anymore because he's basically mopped up all the enemies that are in, the city. So So as they go along, they're having the conversation back and forth, kind of like, get, Captain's like, get this person. He's like, he is dead. What about Dr. Van Doom or something? He's like, he's in exile. This one's got the chair. This one, blah, 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 and this, that, and that. And he's like, really? He's like, nah. He's like, and then he comes across the name Casanova Frankenstein. Drink. It's like, he was a great one. We had lots of great battles, and we very diabolical and all this kind of stuff. And you can see him kind of thinking like, ooh, how could I get him back? How could I, how could I use this to my advantage to get myself more publicity and make myself look like a badass again and get Pepsi back, basically. So then we go to the insane asylum, where we're introduced to Mr. Casanova. Drake.
Are you purpose drinking us, motherfucker?
No. Just
okay.
These names are very common throughout the whole film, so can't help it. That's why I picked them, because that's the whole purpose of the drinking game, is to drink.
It is, sir.
Anyways, so we're introduced to him where he's at his parole hearing. I think they said it was like his 20th or something like that in the last 20 years or something like that. He's had like one every year or something like that. And so he's there trying to make it seem like he's a changed, reformed man who is wonderfully played by Jeffrey Rush, who is a fantastic actor. If you haven't seen him in anything, definitely check him out in the film Shine or any of the Pirates of the Caribbean films that he was in. He was really fantastic as Barbosa. Jeffrey Rush is very talented, and I think that this role was perfect for him because he was absolutely on point and hilarious with all of his movements, all his speaking, everything. He's like Nemesis, like Nemesis. It just his eye rolls and all that stuff was super funny. But we get introduced to him, and he's trying to get paroled, and they deny it again. Then all of a sudden, Lance comes in, who is AKA Mr. Captain. And basically he suggests that they release him because, yes, I think he's reformed, and that because we have Captain, he's not going to do any bad. And, he's going to do good, and, we can release him. And so basically they agreed to release him on Lance's and Captain's, basically foresight, saying we'll take care of him if he does do anything wrong. So he gets released. So before we go past that, let's talk about kind of that section of the film. What are your guys' thoughts on the Red Eyes? What did you think about that being the first villain of the film? Did you enjoy those characters? Did you think they were a good villain to start off the film? And kind of what were your thoughts kind of in the introduction of all the characters kind of right there at the beginning? And just kind of your thoughts overall on that kind of section of the film, up to the release of Casanova, into the wild. Drake, starting with you, Gunner.
Well, the Red Eyes were good. You had Artie Lang, who was a pretty big deal at the time, so that they were a good villain to bring in, Artie Lang. But the initial Mystery Men, like seeing their powers, whatever. Again, Bill Macy shovels well. He shovels very well. Really, the only one of them with actual talent. Hank Azaria is the Blue Raja, who doesn't wear blue, and he throws forks. Just hilarious. And the greatest superhero in this whole movie is Ben Stiller, whose superpower, he's furious. I was ready. He's just furious. He gets mad. His superpower is getting mad, which is genius because the only one whose power is just as great is Wes Studi, whose superpower is he's terribly mysterious. But that's what a great superhero, just that you're furious. And his name is Mr. Furious. So that's awesome right there. And it was a great scene. Now, you talk about the publicist. That's Ricky Jay. If you guys are familiar at all with Ricky Jay, of course, he was in Magnolia and a bunch of other stuff. But he is also he passed away, but he was a very famous magician. And one of his first lines in the movie is, "I'm not a magician, I'm a publicist," which is great. So I love Ricky Jay. I've always loved him all the way back to Boogie Nights and Magnolia. But he was the narrator in the opening of Magnolia. And he's in Magnolia. But anyway, another great cameo. As this movie goes on, more and more and more and more people, you're going to be like, wait, he was in this movie? They were in this movie? Yes. But this scene was great. Just seeing how they're just kind of out of their element, but not like... It's a great scene with them, and just, Benjamin getting hit in the face with the shovel, and of course Bill Macy getting stabbed in the butt with the fork. I mean, you just see that they're not what they think they are. They think they're these great heroes, but they're the mystery men. And when I talk about that this movie is very Marvel, very MCU-ish. Like, this was a predecessor to the MCU, and we didn't get up to the diner scene yet, but when we get there, I think the biggest connection, but this movie would be as if you took the MCU and put it in Batman Forever. Like, that sums up this movie. MCU, Kevin Feige in the world of Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. So
excellent. Awesome. And did you have anything you would like to say about Tom Waits?
Oh, I mean, he's great, and he obviously he's in the movie later, but he's just hilarious. Like, I sit there, I'm like, that's Tom Waits. And if you know anything about like Tom Waits' music, he sings like this. Like, he sounds like Ralph the dog when he sings. He doesn't talk as much like Ralph the dog as when he sings, but I'm a huge Tom Waits fan as a musician and as a actor.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good job. So since we have this wonderful second time appearance on our wonderful channel here, I'll go to him next, Mr. Aston. How we doing, Aston?
Hey, can you guys at least hear me? Is it super staticky? I'm like tripping out here. I don't even want to go on camera if I'm sounding that bad. Tell me, guys. I don't know. I can't tell.
How does the camera part correlate to the shitty audio? Like, what if you actually look good on camera but your audio sucks? Like, don't you think?
I don't know sign language, guys. I don't know sign language, guys. I don't know, but like, how's the audio sounding? Like, is it a lot better than it was in the studio?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you now. You're good.
Next time, don't just give up. Give True Knowledge a chance, baby. Okay?
I got you, bro. I'm going to hook up my Scarlett i18, man. It's a big sucker. That's the problem. It's really big.
No, next time, just stick with True Knowledge, baby. You know how many motherfuckers, that's Cyber, you know how many motherfuckers I've gotten on the show in these situations and whatnot through the private chat and shit like that? I'm saying we're resources over here. Don't worry about that other shit. Ask us. We'll get you on the show. Anyway,
thank you guys for bearing with me, for real. I apologize, and thanks you all y'all so much for bearing with me. And I was listening in the background to like as much as I could to what y'all was saying. I agree with most of the stuff, but thanks again and sorry for the hold up.
Well, you're in the show now, so let's let Cyber go ahead and do his job, and we'll get you in, and let's do it.
First off, I must say I love the poster behind you. I want to believe. X-Files, thank you very much. Great poster. Anyways, so where we're at, Aston, is basically we've talked about the beginning intro to the film, like you said, as you were listening, and we gone up to Casanova Frankenstein being paroled. Drink. So what I was asking everybody, what was their thoughts on the Red Eyes as a first villain right at the get-go of the film? And what were your thoughts, leading up through that portion of the film, leading to the paroling of, Mr. Casanova? Drake.
Making my drink hand make me do reps over here and shit and whatnot, Cyber.
You're going to be bumped by the end.
That's right.
Beerceps, gentlemen, beerceps. But yeah, what I really liked about the actual setup, like this is gonna sound maybe cheesy, but my favorite part was actually the beginning and the setup, because the cinematography looked pretty good. Bear in mind, this is practical effects choreography. Like it looked like a legit movie. It was selling you, like, it didn't feel like a parody, like let's say a scary movie or something like that. Like, it was really well orchestrated. Ricky J? I heard you guys talking about Ricky J. I love that limo scene. Like, they really bring that sort of corpo stuff, which we're seeing now with Disney. Like, let's call a spade, corporation wise. So it's like, I feel it foreshadowed stuff. And Artie Lang's character, I think it was a shame they didn't shoot more stuff with him, because he's hilarious. He had hilarious takes on Stern and stuff. But like, the setup is, for me, great. The gothic vibe. It could have, like for me, like, when I found out that they recycled sets, like, maybe they recycled some of that stuff too for the setup and the big shots going in and some of the models, because it gives you the air of like an almost serious movie. So that's what got me hooked. The first time I saw that stuff, it was a rental. Thank God I didn't buy it.
Excellent. Thank you. And any thoughts on the Ricky J line of him talking about, I'm not a magician? Because we were talking about that. Gunnar was mentioning that, how Ricky J really was a magician. What were your thoughts on that line? Did you think that was funny? Did you think that was a great pun because he was a real magician?
Yeah, I mean, seeing him on Penn and Teller and everything, and he's like one of those nerds. Like, whenever I see him in anything, I know it's going to be good. And it worked. It landed. Like, the joke really landed, because, like, anyone who knows who he is, and that's what I feel. I feel the writer and the director weren't in the same space, because that's gold. Getting someone like that, like, use him more. Even in that limo, you could have used him more. He could have, like, pulled something out of his sleeve, or just like something cheesy like that. Just fully lean into it. But, I mean, the Pepsi thing, the Konica logo, like, I was literally trying to find real companies on that whole thing. And yeah, Ricky J, like, R.I.P., rest in peace. I'm a drink. That's a freebie. Like
that, it's totally true what you say, like, about the fact that there's so many cameos in this that I think it's made for you. Like, if you were there and you're like, that's Michael Bay. Like, it's Michael Bay. No one's going to notice Michael Bay. But when you notice Michael Bay, it's for you. You feel like, wow, this movie's for me. There's Ricky J right there. I go to my book, it's Ricky J. She's like, shut up. I don't even know who that is. But that joke was for me. And I feel like they did so much of that.
Hammer time, I feel like this video is for you, sir.
We tried to reach out to the man who died in this pursuit. They were unavailable for comment.
You foul, bro.
There you go, bro. The guy was dead, and Andre's a pop culture guy. He was unavailable to talk, sir, because he was deceased.
Who the hell would reach out to a dead person? Jesus Christ.
This is for you, Hammer Time.
We tried to reach out to the man who died in this pursuit. They were unavailable for comment.
What the fuck? What kind of newscaster is that? Oh my God. Oh.
That is fucking hilarious. I knew you'd like that, Cyber.
Oh God, that was just so fucking stupid. Oh my God. Retarded. Not as good as the P. Diddy juice. Sorry, nothing as good as P. Diddy juice.
Hammer time. They were not available for comment, sir. I'm sure you would have covered for them, but like, they weren't there.
Good to know.
You got to get Hazel. You got to get Hazel a little bit since your first show at the Bleeding Edge, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Aston. Great job. Since you're talking, Jeff, let's go to you, sir. Your thoughts on the Red Eyes, Tom Waits, the limo scene leading up to the parole of the parolee.
Sorry, I've got this hoe blow me up, man. Like, seriously, she's a hoe.
Stop complaining, bro. Stop complaining.
She's blowing me up, dude, and it really bothers me. It irritates the shit out of me, because these iPhones, if you don't acknowledge the text messages, right, the phone just keeps on beeping. So
it does that repeat beep, man. I got caught out there a few times.
You know what it's called? You know what you do when that happens? You either
I silent moded it.
Yeah, or you turn it off.
I silent moded it, sir. Well, what are you gonna do? I mean, I don't know. You know, bipolar hose fucking hit you up out of nowhere and start blowing you up. You don't know what's gonna happen, bro. Come on now. Anyways, so
Captain Save-A-Ho, man. Captain Save-A-Ho.
Gunner, it's good to have you back on the show again, sir. My brother. We missed you.
I'm talking too much. Just tell me to shut up. I won't take you.
You're getting your second round of love now. You know, it's very rare. A guest gets a double round of love from one of the co-hosts of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, but you're getting a double blast of love. It's good to see your face on the show, folks. Gunner has we're almost at what, Cyber, 55,000 subscribers. Gunner is, and we're almost at 1,000 videos. Or uploads or whatever you want to call it, shows essentially on YouTube. And out of that 1,000, I don't know, Cyber, how much of that is live shows? 3/4 of it probably, right? Is nothing but us actually doing shows for the most part.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fucking shows, man, over 3 years. It's a lot of nights, a lot of shows, a lot of people, right? And Gunner has been on a lot of it. It's just that unfortunately he hasn't been on for a long time. So if you haven't been, been sticking with us since the beginning, you wouldn't probably know much about Gunner, unfortunately. That's why
I won the Battle Royal. I'm the last one standing from back in the day, me and Cyber.
Jason's got a big head on him, Cyber. We got to straighten him out the next time he comes on the panel, bro. He needs to be he needs to get his balls busted and dropped out of level, dropped out of notch for thinking that Gunner. If you're there, Rathacon, for thinking that Gunner, this is his first time on the fucking show. Just because I shouted him out in the chat, it was like Gunner's coming on the show. I think I even said flat out for the first time in a year. Come on, what the fuck, Rath?
Man, it's been a while.
Read the whole sentence this time. Jesus Christ. Andre's the pop culture guy. Jesus. I'm telling you. Giving me panic attacks over there moderating shows and shit now.
Look, fuck you. If you're not handling it, I will take over the show completely.
I've got to keep emergency Xanax close to the laptops now against Cyber, like I used to from when Andre moderates. I've got to have, got to make sure I've got a Xanny bar or a football or something laying around close to me, just in case. Can you imagine?
Dude, man, where was you at in my college days, bro? Like, fuck, man.
Probably banging some chick.
True. That could be
drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, can you answer the question, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm just spreading the love. My answer to the question, sir, is that I thought the opening of the movie was stupid. It didn't do anything for me. The stupid fucking character that Hank Azaria plays, whatever, where he is the spoon man or some shit or whatever. Fuck that dude. That shit is weak as fuck, bro. His fucking superpower is his ability to throw fucking silverware. That's fuck, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? For real. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. And then what is even Mr. whatever the fuck his name is? I'm not even gonna say his name because then I would have to incur a drink. Let's call him Mr. Tony Stark. Mr. Captain Marvel. We'll call him Captain Marvel. What is his actual superpowers? I didn't see him do shit.
He gets fly or some shit? Power. He's like the Hulk who can't Hulk out.
No. I'm not talking about Ben Stiller's character.
Drink.
Oh, fuck. God damn it. Motherfucker.
What are you talking about?
Amazing, right? Are we talking about?
Captain Marvel. He doesn't have any powers.
Gunner, I'm talking.
You're talking about what's his name's character? I can't think of his name.
William H. Macy?
Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear's character. What are his superpowers?
He doesn't have superpowers.
So you're telling me even that motherfucker didn't even have superpowers? What the fuck, bro?
William H. Macy is the best superhero out of all of them. He shovels well. He shovels very well, Lucille.
The opening fucking sucks, bro. I'm telling you right now, somebody should have paid me to watch that fucking movie, bro. That's it. I'm out. Peace.
Okay, well, since you said earlier in the chat saying that you thought you were going to be the master tonight, you had just lost 1 billion points, sir.
Sir, I'm reviewing RoboCop Dracula or whatever the fuck it is with Joey on Thursday. 3. RoboCop Vampire 3, and I bet it's gonna be better than this fucking movie.
No, I doubt it. Once again, let's reiterate, people. He thinks House of the Dragons is the best show ever. So
I never said. Wait a minute. Hold on
that.
a minute, sir. Sir, I never said it was the best show ever. I think there's other shows that are better. I think it's a good show. It's really good to. It's fun to review. It's fun to review. I'd say, and it is really good. Yes, it's high quality television. I think it's not a bad. It's not a bad show.
My point exactly.
Cyber, you can't watch that show and tell me that show at least doesn't have good writing and like that they put money into it and whatnot.
It is the wokest shit I've ever seen.
No, it's a solid show.
Woke as shit.
No, well, it's 2 against 1 because Andres loves it. So
I don't care. Andres doesn't count because he's fucking time cop. He slips in and out.
Andres doesn't count. The other day you were like trying to give him like hugs and shit, like like online hugs and shit on the show and whatnot. Now he doesn't even matter. Jesus.
I never was trying to give him hugs online. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. If you mean points, if you mean the points, yes, I'm giving him 1,000,000 points right now just because.
Andres, when are you going to get yourself in contention to win a Shogun Award again on the show and actually get one, dude? Because it's been a while, bro. Like, seriously. I'm just starting to get a little bit worried. Like, it's been, maybe you're having a little bit of problems.
He's already in the lead.
I don't care. I don't care.
Maybe you might need to reach out, and get some help or whatever. Whatnot. You're having some kind of problem, not, with that stuff.
I'm fine. I have my wife, Angela Bassett. I have my whole world, so I don't need it.
There's nothing embarrassing about it. I have to admit that you have erectile, dysfunctional issues or whatever.
I think that's you. You told me you have a small 1.8 inches of a dick. And I have a very big one, which I'm not going to tell you. It's very big. It's 7, if you guys want to know. But
how does that make any sense? You have a big dick. But you don't know how big it is, but might have a small dick, and you know the exact fucking measurements of my dick. What the fuck is that?
Hey, look, you brought on to yourself, so I'm just letting you know what kind of size you have, sir.
Okay, we're not here to talk about penis sizes, people. We're talking about a movie. So back to the point. So thank you, sir, for your contribution there, Mr. RoboCop the 3 Saves the Universe reviewer. So yeah, have fun with that.
That's
Anyways,
right.
Andres,
the Shogun Award is mine, motherfucker. Let's go.
Nope, you are losing right now. Andres, your thoughts, sir. What did you think about the red eyes leading up to the parole of the parolee?
Okay. So the red eyes were pretty good. I mean, first off, I think it just sets up what kind of movie we're watching. This is a very superior film, which is nice. I mean, it kind of gives you that kind of Batman 60s kind of opening for, this movie, so it's good to see like villains. That's something I always wanted to see in, modern live action films. And yeah, I agree with Gunner. I mean, it is kind of following the Joel Schumacher Batman films. Like, you remember, like, the openings always starts with Batman getting some coal, and like he has to stop the villains doing some crime they're doing, like Two-Face in the opening Batman Forever, or Freeze and Batman Robin. So this was a good opening, and I like the red eyes. I like their goggles. They're very cool. Yeah, the actor that played the leader, I didn't know that was like a very famous comedy actor. There were some actors I recognized, but this one wasn't well known to me. So that was really cool to see that. But yeah, a favorite character from these 3 has to be the Blue Rasha. Great character. I mean, I love Hank. Like the actor Hank, he's so funny. Just his British accent just cracks me up, and the idea of using forks and spoons as a weapon, that's kind of funny. Oh my god! And of course, I love William H. Macy, great actor. He knows what kind of movie this is, and I love his shoulder. And he's actually, I agree with Gunner. He has the most practical weapon that actually can be useful. But I do. Sympathize Jeff. I like Ben Stiller, but his comedy is always taste, acquired taste, and I don't know, his character is kind of okay in the beginning here. But I just didn't find it funny. But everything else is just so funny. I just love it. And then, yeah, that's it. And then moving forward, to after that, when we get into Captain Britain or Captain America himself coming in,
Captain Britain is a completely different fucking character, dude. Come on, bro.
Hey, I'm sorry, bro. I just want to see how you react. Because you made a comment that shut up, Andreas. You gave stupid Acolyte episode 5 fucking 7.50.
That shit made no fucking sense, bro.
Fuck you. Anyway, so when, Captain America himself, stops the Red Eyes and he's talking to his, what is it, sponsor person, whatever. I really love that discussion because he goes down and is like, come on, give me Deaf Man. Deaf Man's dead. And it's funny to hear his rogues gallery being dead or being in prison or, getting exterminate, something like that, put in the chair, right? And then he brings up Jeffrey Rush, Dr. Doom here. So Dr. Doom here, he's mortal arch nemesis. So, and that was really cool. And then we get into the parole. And last thing, I just want to say, love the production side here. One of the sad things after this movie, this is going to be the last movie we see like practical models of faking the city. Because I really like how they made up the city. It's really cool. It's like Blade Runner meets, Gotham City. And it's really sad that this is kind of the last kind of movies that we see that, because it looks beautiful in this movie. This movie looks so gorgeous. And the music by Shirley Walker, of course, anyone knows Shirley Walker composed the Batman theme for the cartoon show, the Batman animation series, and she did a great theme for the Mystery Man. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the beginning. So I'm very excited to get into the main villain, Dr. Doom.
We missed one cameo though.
Jeffrey
Rush's doctor, Lena Olin, who played Jennifer Garner's mom in Alias.
Andre, you better heat up quick. You better heat up quick on this show because you don't have time on this show with me on the panel to like fuck around and then like bring your strong shit at the end or whatever. Because I'm gonna fuck you up, bro. I'm gonna serve it up on you, just to let you know.
Okay, thanks so much, my friend, my son.
Yeah, I know you're intimidated over there.
How will we fucking intimidate to you, sir? I'm a time traveling superhero.
I'm no fucking joke.
Wife, that's Angela Bassett.
Hammer time. What you answer the question.
Your jokes is literally like ice tea meets
hammer time. You answer Andre's question. Why am I talking all this shit? Why, Gunner?
You know what? Because you're drunk.
You're drunk.
Because I'm that N-word, motherfucker. You feel me? That's why.
Wow, you're going down.
That's why.
Like, wow. You're desperate. Look at you. You're so desperate because you're so desperate now. You're talking. You're just bridling stuff. I know you're desperate. Look,
I'm just playing some psychological games with you a little bit.
Look,
you know,
if you want the Shogun War, here, have the Shogun War. I don't give a F about the Shogun
War. You don't already have it to pass it over to me. That's me, motherfucker. I pass it over to motherfuckers, not you. The fuck? Fuck you too, sir. You ain't passing nothing to me. What are you kidding me? The ball's in my court with the Shogun War more count than you, sir. Get out of here.
Oh man.
Go hang out. Listen, you better go hang out with RoboCop Vampire 3, bitch. Let's do it.
I actually know those two people. And we had a pleasant time, RoboCop and the vampire chick.
Okay. Anything else to say, Andres?
No. It's all good. Love this section. It gets you into the world very well.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on. So from there, we get that great diner scene that Mr. Gunner mentions after the battle Before they go to the diner, they had that great little scene with the cops, which was really fun too as well. And we get that great line from Ben Stiller, Drake.
I just
Keep
want to make it
dreaming.
clear. I'm really fucking drinking a real man's alcohol over here too. This is some stout shit that I'm drinking, just to be clear.
Who gives a shit? Drinking's drinking.
Amen.
Anyways, so they have that great moment, and Mr. B says, "I will keep dreaming, lilac," which is one of the best freaking lines in that freaking movie ever. It was so freaking funny because who the hell calls somebody lilac? That was just super funny. I think that was improv. I think that was a really great line. But once they get to the diner, that's when we're introduced to Miss C, Miss Claire Florani. Drink, motherfuckers. And she's a waitress at this little diner that they go to. And they're sitting around the table and they're gonna order food and talking about, you know, what just happened and how, you know, they need to do better and get more coordinated so that they can do better at what they're doing. And, you know, basically kind of, you know, reiterate what happened and how, you know, like each of them have their faults and each of them are like, you know, it's like you couldn't use a spoon or a knife at some point. I'm not Mr. Knifey. I'm not Mr. This. I'm the Blue Raja. And so we have that great kind of like camaraderie there between the characters, which was really funny. And those three guys just, I thought, worked really well together. And they were a great little trio there that were super funny. And we have kind of that little scene where Mr. B is, you know, tries to flirt with Miss C. And, you know, basically like saying, "Oh, I'm sorry if I was super ragey there. I wasn't trying to be, you know, that way." She's like, you know, be scary. And she's like, "You didn't scare me at all," type of deal thing, which was really funny. And he kind of laughs about it. And as they're leaving the diner, Hank Azaria is like complaining about how the salad eater has to pay the same amount as the steak eater. And that was super funny. And I was just kind of cracking up like, well, get something bigger the next time, man. Don't just get a salad if you guys are paying three ways. And, you know, they each go to their, you know, respective homes. And as they're leaving, they come in contact briefly with the Disco Boys, who the lead Disco Boy is superly hilariously funny. Eddie Izzard makes his appearance for the first time, and so Mr. B decides that they should follow them, and the other guys are like, "No, I gotta get home." Blah blah blah. You gotta get home. He's like, "All right, it's a wolf pack of one then, I guess." So he goes his way and they go their way. We're introduced to William Macy's family, who his wife, who's a great comedian. She's been in a ton of things over the years.
The star of this movie is Lucille. She's absolutely the star. Love her.
She's absolutely hilarious. Any movie I've seen her in, she's always hilarious. She was in the Think Like the Man movies. She usually plays like a mother character, and she's always like the overbearing mother character, which she always plays very well. She's super funny. And so get introduced to her and his kids, which are awesome. And I love that scene when he pulls up the car and he unfortunately runs over the teddy bear or the whatever the stuffed toy was, and he rips off the body, but the head's still underneath the tire, and he brings it in without the head, which I think is super funny. And which is, you know, hilarious. You know, we get kind of that introduction to Lucille and his family. You know, we get introduced to Hank Azaria's mom briefly, and then we go to Casanova Frankenstein again. Drink. Hank getting paroled and being able to go back to his mansion, where that he gets himself all dolled up and so like that. He takes a shower, cuts his hair, gets his nails painted and all kinds of stuff, and it's all in his normal attire again. And as he's making his way in the foyer, you know, Mr. Captain America pops up, Mr. Greg Kinnear, and basically they're like, do you mind turning off your blah blah blahs and your blah blah blahs and your blah blah. He basically say every single thing that he has as like a weapon. He's like telling them to turn off, which was really funny. And yeah, as they're talking and stuff like that, we have that great Nemesis line. And you know, we have that great scene before Captain pops up, where Disco Boy Eddie Izzard's like, "Disco's life," and which was super funny, great line. But as Captain is talking with Mr. Bad Guy, he all of a sudden notices a transmitter for a radio detonator, and he picks it up and he's looking at it. And he's like, and Mr. Bad Guy's like, "Oh, that it's pretty cool." He's like, "Oh, really?" And all of a sudden, it deploys a silent dart thing and makes him pass out. And you're kind of like, "Oh, what an idiot!" Like after all that, all you got them to just to take off all the other things, the things in his slippers, his rings, and all that stuff, and you fall for the radio detonator, sir. What a dum-dum. So basically at this point, we find out that Lance, his alter ego, is missing after that happens to him at Mr. Bad Guy's lair. And Mr. B, he goes to work that morning after following to the place. And we're introduced to his boss, this old crotchety lady who's hilarious. She's like, "I'm like, dunk it. And she keeps wanting him to junk this giant vehicle that basically is like indestructible. And he's working on that when he finds out the news about what do you call it. And he gets together with the guys and to say, you know, have you seen this thing about Lance being missing? And like, "Oh yeah, I have." And you know, basically kind of, you know, like they, you know, he suggests that you know, that Captain is Lance in disguise, basically. And William H. Macy's like, "Oh, don't go on with that again." When he transforms, he's wearing glasses as Lance. He doesn't have glasses when he's Captain, so he can't be Lance. And he's like, he takes them off when he transforms, like Superman, you know, like Superman as Clark Kent, and as Superman, he doesn't have the glasses. It's kind of the same kind of iteration there. And he's like, that just can't be. You can't do that. And like Hank Azaria is kind of like, "Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with you. I kind of agree," which is pretty funny. Really funny, really funny. Anyways, before we go past that, let's talk about that stuff there. So what did you think about the encapturing of Captain? Did you find that sequence funny? Did you enjoy seeing all the little doodads and gadgets that the bad guy has? What did you think about the introduction of Lucille? Kind of just your thoughts kind of on that section of the film, including the diner scene as well. I'm going to start with you, Aston.
For me, I like the diner scene because like it's Ben Stiller doing what he does best, being that awkward, you know, goofy dude no matter how it goes down. So it's Ben Stiller foreshadowing what he's going to be doing for a better part of a decade moving forward. I think the chemistry, like I feel it was understated the way the waitress and him were kind of going at it. But for me, that scene was good the way they were kind of going back and forth, the three of them. And like, it really does set the tone of like, okay, these guys are really, you know, you see why they're doing it, but it shows like the human side of it, the way they're trying to like split the food, the way, you know, this guy's being a cheapskate, and William H. Macy is really like the blue collar guy. Like all of those things kind of come to play. And when it moves further and to go to like what Captain Douchebag And his whole thing, like the guy's like a wad, man. The guy like, but he does that. It's like literally what he does his entire career. I only remember him from those sort of roles. So here he really got to be like, Captain Corpo and stuff, like pushing that line. And the way he just fell for it, like it was just so like, for me, it was cheap. Like to me, it was kind of cheap. I'm like, come on, you guys could have done this a little bit better, lean into it a little bit more. I don't got it here in my show notes, but I don't remember. No, it's later. It's later. This one scene, like awesome Casanova scene. Fuck, drink. You got me, Cyber. You got me, man. Like I was trying to do the name changes the whole time. I'm trying to hold on to sobriety with a passion to this evening, but it ain't working. It ain't working. Oh man. But for real, with me, what that part did really well, like his mom, when she asked him about, are you smoking marijuana? He's got the incense, and it's like he's got like the biggest blanket for it in the world. I'm like, who is this guy? And Hank Azaria is like, he's definitely one of those slept on talents, which I really wish he would have done more movies, more TV outside of, Simpsons and stuff, because like he intentionally does a crappy English accent, but I've heard him before do real good English accents. So it's like very like, if I had a word to describe like the to where we got now, very understated. Like the director really tried to make it very understated. He let the set pieces and stuff do their thing. He allowed these guys to like really breathe, like, that sort of working class blue, like if there was working class bum heroes, these are those guys. They have awful backstories. It's like so sad. Like, for example, he's there still living with his mom, but it all looks kind of lavish and opulent and everything, kind of foreshadowing what happens later. But then Lucille, like, please, I always had a thing for sassy black chicks growing up. Okay, my first 3 girls were like black or mixed. Okay, growing up, I was born and raised in Kuwait. So like there wasn't too many like blondes I could get with. So I always liked that sort of archetype, like the bossy, like, wife, but she loves him. She's holding down the fort and everything. And love that chick, man. Love that chick. Like blows me away every damn time. But yeah, that's my take so far, Cyber. Unless we have to drink again.
No, not yet. Not yet. Good job, sir. Thank you. All right, Gunner. Your thoughts, sir.
All right. First off, when Greg Kinnear's character gets knocked out, it's his best moment of the whole movie. After he shoots himself, he goes, "Oh dang!" and then he passes out. That's his best scene in the whole movie. But like I was saying, there's 2 big differences between a Marvel and a DC movie. Think about it. 2 big differences. One, most DC climactic battles happen at night. And Marvel, if you think about it, all the classic Marvel battles, the majority of them happen when it's light out. What's the other big difference between Marvel and DC is that Marvel does not really have, at least the MCU, does not really have secret identities. Whereas DC, everyone has secret identities. And this movie, like I said, it's more in the vein of a Marvel movie than a DC. They're totally making fun of the whole secret identity, and I love it. How could Captain be able to see if he doesn't have his glasses on? Like, that's just great. Like, we've all said that 1,000 times, and they're just telling it how it is. So I love that whole diner scene, and I'm going to call her Brandy Svenig instead of the C word. Not that C word, but I really think, and I'm a big, especially back then, I was a big fan of her. But she could have been out of the movie and it wouldn't take anything away. I think she kind of slows the pace down. I would be completely fine if she wasn't in the movie. And I love her. Mallrats is one of my favorite movies. And she is part of a thing. So there's something I call up called the Meet Joe Black effect. I don't know if you've ever seen that. But if you watch that movie, 5 minutes into that movie, Brad Pitt gets hit by a bus. And I've tried to watch this movie 3 times. And as soon as I see that scene, I turn it off because I'm like, the movie will never be as good as this scene. 4 minutes into the movie will never be as good as this scene. So that is the legacy of Brandy Svenning. This movie, she could have not. And I was excited. Part of the reason I went to see it was because I loved her in Mallrats. And this was right after Meet Joe Black. So she was kind of at the top of her game too, but really like no place for her in this movie. I'm sorry. I like her, but no place for her. But yeah, I love Lucille. She's such a great character, and giving her casting her as William H. Macy's wife just makes the absurdity of this movie. Like the relationships, Blue Raja and his mom, that's such a great relationship. And the fact how much Lucille loves the show, how much love is great. And of course, you mentioned him pulling in and rolling over the dinosaur toy. If that's not a reference to Barney, I don't know what is, but of course, everyone back then was at the "we hate Barney, we're going to kill Barney, we're over Barney." And that was right around the time Death to Smoochie came out, Edward Norton's movie. And that was another like, let's kill Barney. We all effing hate Barney. So that's what I think that joke was for. It was, we're not going to put an act.
I always kind of wanted to give Barney a hug.
Well, go for it. But yeah, that's my take on those scenes. Oh, and of course, we've mentioned Tony P, who tells us that Disco is not dead, but we're not mentioning our new cameo of Tony C. You know, play Tony C. It's Praz from the Fugees. So Tony P and Tony C. Disco is not dead. There we go. And right. I love her. Furious's boss, Jonka, with her freaking beard. It's awesome. Like they just shout out to everybody catching us live right now on all the different platforms we're on. We appreciate all of you. You know, I hope we're entertaining you and you're enjoying the show. And you know, stick with us. Keep rocking with us. It'll only get better. I promise. Hopefully, it'll get better.
Yeah, when Gunnar gets done at some point in the next hour, we won't toss to Andres for a question. We're going to skip him. Then we'll go from there.
But yeah, great casting. I'm done.
Excellent. Thank you. Jeffrey, your thoughts, sir?
Oh, I completely lost the question completely, sir. I'm stoned and partially intoxicated and in the private chat constantly, you know, doing the private chat thing. So can you just give me the start and ending line again?
Yes. So we're going from the diner to when Mr. B decides to stake out Mr. Bad Guy's lair.
I'm broke as shit. I'm not changing the way I dress. I refuse to wear a suit. I've had some kinky sex. I have tried drugs.
There you go. That's it, sir. That's my my contribution on that question. I signed off on it. That and there you go. Bunch of four scissoring bitches all over the place. Fucking just four scissoring and shit and whatnot. Immaculate conceptions left and right. You know, so honestly, I thought it was pretty fucking weak that Captain Marvel was such a bitch. Like, he was supposed to be the one strong superhero or whatever, and he got grabbed up like quick. Yeah, it's dope that Tom Waits is in the movie. You know, I actually started to get scared there for a minute when I said the word Tom Waits, because I was like, wait a minute, is Tom Waits a drinking word? Because that's how I feel like during the drinking game. I get all fucking like scared and shit when I say certain things. So I was like scared to say it. But either way, it's dope that Tom Waits is in the movie and all that shit and whatnot. I dig that factor. I'll give that credit. And like when I rate the movie, like I'll take that into consideration. But you know, I found the Greg Kinnear character appealing at first. So to see him just like become a little bitch and get kidnapped immediately just really sucked. And Claire Filoni is fucking hot, dude. Like, Greg. Seriously. She is hot.
He said Filoni. He said Filoni. He didn't say her real name.
You say
You
Dave
still say
Filoni
Claire?
is hot. I think Dave Filoni is hot too.
Furloughed, whatever. Anyways, she's fucking hot, and I'm sure she's still hot. I'd still hit that shit now, right? You know what I'm saying? Right at the end of the show, if she could, like, I have this new desk now. This out here at the garage, I've got this new desk that's a lot higher up. Now, I've actually gotten a blowjob before during a live stream. I'm not gonna tell anybody which one, but I've gotten one underneath my other desk in my bedroom. But that bitch had to like do some like snake belly like dancing shit or whatever to get down in there and get in there. This one's like way more higher up. So you never know, folks. I might get some mystery men action going on underneath the table live on the Bleeding Edge. So basically, only final thoughts on that chapter of the film. I like seeing Mr. Beat Joe Black woman or girl, Mrs. Beat Joe Black. She's a highlight of the film. She makes it like better for me. She's just so attractive to me. I've just always been like really really attracted to her, like her looks, like, you know, like her build. She's tall, very fuckable. You know, guys, you guys know what I'm talking about. And I'm sure there's plenty of women out there too who wouldn't mind eating that cat. So, you know, as far as the rest of the whole crew goes and the team and all that, the squad, the squid-on, I don't really have many good words. I'm gonna keep it to myself because they're not too positive. Again, I can see why this movie didn't do well or make very much money. It's a really bad fucking movie. How this is a cult classic or whatever or some shit, I have no idea. This is like, nope. That's all I got to say. I'm done. Okay, USA.
It would make $80 million.
Okay, USA. Okay, USA. I love everybody. Shout out to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. Shout out to everybody, all the good ass people on the show. What's up? Let's do it. Mystery Men. Boom.
It's way ahead of
Andres, your thoughts.
Yeah, my thoughts. Okay. Yeah, well, first I want to address this. I mean, the reason this movie didn't do well.
My boy.
Bro, like, bro, you on some weird shit, bro.
What?
What you give me a pink lighter for, bro? Take that shit back, bro.
Hey, yo, chill, bro. Hey, bro, Bro, what the fuck? All of this over a pink lighter.
Wait,
right.
what he was shooting for? Pink what?
That's Andre. That's probably some shit you do.
I think that was you, Jeff. I think that's you missing that pink whatever, probably pink vape or pink money or something like that. Anyway, well, fuck you, sir. Fuck you, Jeff. So the diner is really great. I'm surprised that any of you guys brought this up. One of the things I really like this, and I agree with Gunnar. I think he brought this up ahead of the time. It's like the Kick-Ass for the 90s. Like, I really like those moments of, these characters talk about the cliche and the tropes of superhero stuff. So they could accept that as Captain America and the whole glasses identity thing that Cyber brought up. The same thing with Superman. That is really fun. That was really a great, comedic bit. when it was, William H. Macy, the shoveler, say, "Oh my God, not this again." It's just like me. It's like, come on. Like, I don't know what to say about Superman's secret identity. It's just you had to go for it. But yeah, that was such a funny scene, and I do agree. Again, with Gunnar, the mole rat actress, she's great, she's beautiful, but she is completely pointless in this film, and unfortunately, this movie was very much cut in a couple scenes to like keep the pacing of the film going. There were a couple scenes of her and Stiller's relationship like more properly blossom as a relationship, but they kind of cut that out from the film, so we get this really weird couple of scenes of like them meeting each other, and then all of a sudden she's like in love with him. Like it's really bad in the film. Um, so I agree with Gunnar that like I don't know why they kept her after so many cuts they did. Um, and then after that, like I really like that we see the behind scenes of the lives of these three like wannabe superheroes. Like this is the part that maybe liked the Blue Raja. The fact that he's not British was so hilarious. That cracked me up. And like his mom interfering his like whatever like practice of his accent or whatnot. That was really funny. It was like, oh my god, mom, what did I tell you? You broke the three rules. You did not knock. You disrupted something. You know, it was so funny. I mean, Hank just delivered those lines so well. And then, of course, the Shovelers' home life. It was really funny. I didn't recognize the wife, and I now recognize her. I was looking at her credits, and she's she played Angela Bassett's mother in Tinny Turner in What's Love Gonna Do with It? And I was like, yes, that's who she is. My wife's former mentor in the film. Anyway, and she was great, and she knows what kind of movie she is, and that was really funny. And then we get into the parole thing with Dr. Doom and his lover slash psychiatrist tells the board that he's cured, and then of course Captain America comes in and say that Lance comes in and say that Captain America has proven that he should receive a second chance, which is so stupid. I don't know why the board
now
did that.
now we got Captain America in this motherfucker too. Holy fuck! This shit is something. I'm surprised our audience is still able to maintain what's going on at this point with you, Andres.
Hey, look, it was either Captain something or Captain Marvel, but Captain America. Anyway, also he has the A for symbol, so I thought like Captain America makes sense to name him. Anyway, so Captain America himself goes in. First Dr. Doom meets the Disco Boys, which I really like. I love that they brought some of the Disco.
You just said Dick.
Disco Boys, doofus. Disco Boys, doofus. Anyway, no offense, Jeff. You're still funny. Anyway, what was that? Oh yeah. He's meeting Disco Boys. That was really funny. I gotta say, I was kind of disappointed that the leader who plays the Disco Boys, what was his name?
Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard. He's really funny. I really liked him in a couple of movies I've seen. I kind of feel like he's underutilized in the film. Like he's not used enough, and I kind of wish this movie used more of him. Despite he's in the film. I mean, he has a couple great scenes, but I kind of wish they used more of his comedic bits and all that. But that's my
man in this, though. Like, isn't he transitioned? I don't know if that was just an act for his comedy, but
yeah,
I know the stand-up comedy he does as a woman. I don't know if I've only seen him acting as a man though. Like,
yeah, it was before that transition. Yeah, it's before that. Yeah, but he's still funny here, and I thought that I wish we had more of him in the film. And after he talks to his like minions, his henchmen, and he meets Captain America, and I was laughing when Captain America knows his arch nemesis like tricks. It's like take this off, and I cannot believe he was so stupid that he played by Dr. Doom's trickery by the remote thing, and he gets sleepy. I was like, wow, what a doofus. So
I know it's almost as bad as Amandla getting jizzed on by Pitt.
Yeah, that's very true. Anyway, yeah, that's very true. So, I think that's really it. I really enjoyed this sequence. It gives us more who's these characters are outside of the superhero thing, but there's some issues like Mr. F, his relationship with the with Mallrat actress that's not fully developed. I didn't care about that, but then the other stuff like the Blue Raja, not being British was funny. The Shoveler's wife is like top tier comedy. I love that. So, yeah. But and Doctor Doom, I gotta say, Jeffrey Rush, amazing actor, love him. He's so funny in this film, and he can actually be a great villain in an actual comic movie. And I kind of wish we got in that because I just dug his character here. So that's all I had to say.
Okie dokie. Excellent. Great job, guys. Let's go ahead and play the trailer for the folks out there to refresh them of what we're talking about.
Cyber, can I just say something really quick off that trailer, please? Okay.
Never. Not allowed to. You've been a bad boy. Been naughty. No, go ahead.
That whole reveal of the whole guy, that like invisibility shit and whatnot, that was the stupidest shit ever. Is it just me? Like, even if you love the movie or whatever, that was the dumbest shit ever. Like, what was the point of that?
That's a genius scene. It's
that was
genius.
the whole point.
He's only invisible when no one sees him. That is so freaking. This movie is so smart. People don't realize how smart this movie is.
It's
People
meta as fuck, man. Like,
exactly.
I agree with you, man.
Oh, this is genius. Jeff, how are you not getting this, man? This movie is so smart. It's so genius.
I don't know, Cyber. You explain, Gunner, what my sense of humor is like.
You have a very potty humor thought process, I feel.
I have like a really strong, more adult, really R-rated, like really potty mouth, grimy type kind of humor. That's the kind of humor I like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Not
like stuff like this that's more lighthearted or whatever. Like, me and Cyber we're never going to find common ground on that. That's one spot with me and him. Between our bond or whatever,
I think it's smarter than it is funny. Like, I mean, yeah, it's got some funny moments, but this this movie is just on a level way above where people understand.
I had a really hard time. Even watching it. I had to watch it twice. I watched it twice just to watch it. I watched it twice. I was finishing it in the studio when I came in, like again for the second watch, because I could not stay connected during the first time I watched it, just because it was just way too disorganized, and Stiller was just not good, right? Like as like the lead or whatever, it didn't work for me. Like I already said, I don't want to repeat myself. We still got lots of movie left to review, so. Let's get back to that. I just wanted to point out with the trailer, I just don't understand that whole invisible guy bullshit. Everyone just laughs. It's like it's the final battle and shit and whatnot. How is that funny? Like, what? Like, I don't get it. But then again, who am I, right? I mean, I fucking.
Well, just think about it like this. This is the best way you can explain it to anybody. You're gonna understand things differently than another person's gonna think. Then you're going to find certain humor more interesting. Like you just said, you like that more potty mouth humor. You're going to find that funnier. So when something's a little more higher intellectual thought process, when it comes to comedy, some other people are going to find that funnier because they understand it. When you don't understand it, you're not going to.
I also need my Diddy juice.
I'm about that life. Ask P. Diddy. I just came from his house, even though I'm feeling funny after drinking P. Diddy juice. Wait. What the fuck? What's happening here?
Yep, he needs his P. Diddy juice. Anyways,
not my P. Diddy juice, sir. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fully at full power. Gunner, did you hear about this new event they're adding to the Olympics this year, sir? They're adding to the Olympics this year.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Very interesting, right?
Sure. I've seen weirder.
Yeah. Most definitely. Telling you.
Excellent. All right. So there was a trailer for you guys to kind of give you a thought process of where we're at, what we're doing, what movie we're talking about. So as it moves on, so where we left off, like I said, after, B finds out that Captain has been kidnapped. He tells his team, and they have, basically come up with an idea. Let's go try to rescue him. And so they end up making their way back to the bad guy's castle, and Tony P pops up, and along with his disco boys, and basically they wreak havoc at them, which is a freaking entirely hilarious scene, because as you can watch it, as they're like pounding on them, it's so freaking fake, it's so freaking funny. And I laugh at, like, you watch their feet, it's like that, not even making contact at all, and it's so funny. It's like that, like, really bad B horror type of, like, or B comedy type of films that are like, that's just what it made me think of it. It's so freaking funny. And so after they've gotten beat up, they go back to the diner again, and they said, maybe we need a little more help, you know, to you know, yes, Frasier is considered highbrow, most definitely. That it would be up there with a level like this. So anyways, so they're talking about how maybe we need more people to help us out to take care of, you know, to rescue the captain. And so they decide to basically go on and, you know, start trying to recruit people. So they're like, are you free tomorrow to check out somebody? Like, okay, yeah, sure. And that's when we're introduced to the Invisible Boy, and who's played by Cal Mitchell. And we have that great funny scene where, you know, basically he says that I'm only invisible when nobody's looking at me. I mean, absolutely nobody's looking at me, and it's super funny. And so they say, okay, you know, he's like, oh, haven't you ever been a kid? Be a part of something. And so they say, okay. Then they go back to the diner, and they're all there, and they're like, you know, he's basically explaining some people he knows that are supposed superheroes. Drink. And that's when we get introduced to the spleen. Mr. Paul Rubens comes in, and so we get to learn about the spleen, who basically has the ability to create silent but deadly farts, basically. And because he was cursed by a gypsy woman when he was a teenager, that's why he has all the acne still and stuff like that. And so, you know, they basically are trying to get him to go away and stuff like that, and say, oh, we're not doing anything. Well, he's like, yes, you guys are. And, you know, basically he ends up joining them at the table, and as they're looking through stuff, and basically decide, oh, okay, well, let's do some tryouts. And so that's when we get that great montage that they have at William H. Macy's house. And basically that's where we get a whole bunch more cameos from great comedians and actors. We have, of course, Dane Cook, who we saw as the Waffler. We have Doug Jones, that plays Pencilhead with his kid Pencil, was it Pencil Neck or something like that? And son of Pencilhead. And we get that great scene, and we get PMS Avenger. I only work 4 days out of the month. Is it? No. It's like, whatever. And so basically go through all those different things. They see this one guy walk up, and he looks all buff and masked out, and he looks super cool. And he's like, I'm Ballerina Man. And you just start cracking up, because you're like, wow, that's something I didn't expect. And so then after they're all done, they're sitting there, and they're like, oh, well, nobody really works here. And that's when Janine Grapple pops up. And she's like, are the tryouts over? And like, yeah. And like, and basically, you know, saying, oh yeah, the tryouts are over, you know, come back another time, you know. And she basically pulls out her bowling ball and does her thing, and shows like how cool she is with her bowling ball. She's Baby Bowler, and that her father was Carmine the bowler. And basically the bowling ball she has is Carmine's skull, and is empowered with powers somehow, you know, because he's trying to get revenge on being killed. And, you know, basically they end up including her at, you know, everyone agrees except for Mr. B. And so once they have their little track team, they try to go and take out the bad guy, take on Tony P and stuff like that. And they like smash up the thing and stuff like that, and just basically irritate the bad guy. And really doesn't, you know, do anything. They go and they celebrate. And as they're celebrating and stuff like that, as they're leaving, Tony P shows up to try to get revenge. And thankfully, the Sphinx comes out of nowhere to help them out. And he basically says, I'm willing to train you, and help you be better heroes. Like, oh, please teach us Sphinx. As Hank Azaria as a Blue Roger goes, he's like, Sphinx, please teach us. And, then we go through kind of that montage of them being trained. And of course, Mr. B starts getting mad about it and like doesn't think it's doing anything because all West Studi is doing, or the Sphinx, is basically saying things backwards or forwards or back, basically the same exact thing, and doesn't agree with it. So he storms off at one point, saying he quits. And basically, they continue on, learning, and we see montage of them getting better. The shoveler, learning how to use another shovel. Blue Raja getting better at aiming and using other items, and so forth and so like that. And basically, then we see Mr. B. He ends up at the diner, and why do I hear myself in the background?
I don't know, sir.
Anyways,
you feel like you're echoing?
Yeah, I felt like I was hearing myself in the background. So
I don't know, sir. I'm not sure, sir.
I was hearing myself, but anyways. So once he's at the diner, he has a kind of a conversation with Missy, who shouldn't have even been in the movie. And basically, he explains that he left and he stormed out and he can't just go back. He's like, well, can't you just go back and say you're sorry and go back? He's like, oh, okay. And at this point, he's like, oh, it's kind of dangerous without Captain around, so I should walk you home, and it would just be nice to walk you home. And she's like, okay. And so at that, that's when she tells him that and says, just be, tell me your name. And he's like, you mean my secret identity? Dirk, stuff like, and so he's like, then he basically finally pops it out. I'm gonna say it, Roy Drake. And so he basically reiterates that, what's his name is. And she's like, then just be Roy Drake. So he basically goes back and says he's sorry in his way, and they take him back. And so, basically, as they're kind of still practice stuff like that, the Sphinx basically says, with lack of certain powers, sometimes firepower works. And so then that's when they go to Tom Waits to get, some artillery. And we have that great scene where they're there. They find out that it's non-lethal. And, basically, that it's, it doesn't kill anybody, but it is very effective. And so they're showing all these things, a blame gun, the cyclone thing and stuff like that. And basically they end up walking out of there with a whole bunch of new weapons. And then they're like, basically we need kind of a vehicle. And they're like, and that's when Mr. B is like, there's this Herculean battle engine at the thing that my boss keeps telling me, attack it. And Tom Waits is like, the Herculean Hadron, that's the best non-lethal tank there is, or battle vehicle. And so they start, putting that together and stuff like that, and start making that into their new kind of like Mystery Men vehicle. And so basically, they go try to, unleash Captain, save him. And when they get in there, they try to release him. And unfortunately, with their wrong toggling, because the Captain is confused and yelling at them and calling them all these mean words, they basically do it wrong, and it basically kills him. And so we have lost the Captain. So they go back to the compound, and basically William H. Macy gives them a talk saying, we got to we're the last line of defense. The captain's gone. And basically gives them this like battle speech to get them, all happy. If you got, loved ones to say goodbye to, say goodbye because you might not come back from this. And so that's when we have that kind of little montage where everyone goes kind of to their significant others, tells them, that they're going to battle and that they might not see them again. And so then they go back to the castle and we have our final climatic battle. We're introduced to a whole bunch of different groups, the Furies, the furries, the suits, the frat boys, which is led by Michael Bay, which another cameo there, as Gunnar had mentioned earlier. We also have CeeLo Green, who's a part of the rap group there, along with the other rappers. We have the furries, which are all these chicks in like these furry outfits, which is really funny, and we have the suits who are all like mobster type of looking guys, the frat boys.
CeeLo was from CeeLo. I think CeeLo was from Goody Mob, wasn't he?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Was this Gnarls Barkley era CeeLo though?
Yes, this was Gnarls Barkley era. Yeah, because he was Gnarls Barkley in the late 90s. He didn't become just CeeLo until I think it was the early 2000s.
No. I'm sorry, bro. I'm a rapper. You're wrong. Gnarls Barkley is post 2005. He was in Goody Mob. First album was Soul Food, and he was CeeLo for most of his career. He became Gnarls Barkley post 2004 and 5 when they disbanded.
He's right. He was in Goody Mob. Yeah.
Okay.
You know I'm a rap guy.
Yep. And CeeLo. That's why I call him CeeLo. Anyways, so we have those cameos once again, great cameos, and basically the bad guys, saying thank you for coming, and we're gonna use this defraculator and destroy the city, basically make them bend to our knees. And so that's when the mystery men show up. They come flying in with the Mahirkama engine, and basically they all start battling it out. They all get to use the different guns, the different weapons, I should say. That they got from Tom Waits. They use the blame gun, they use the shrink ray, all that kind of stuff, and we get the kind of these funny like battle sequences and stuff like that, which are really funny. And finally at this point, we have Miss C get captured by the bad guy, and that's when finally Mr. B, his real powers finally come to fruition. He's able to use his power to overpower him and kill him. At this point, we also get the Invisible Boy finally actually his powers working. We have that great scene that we saw in the trailer where he's like, "Can you see me?" It's like, "Yeah, wow. You might want to put some clothes on if you want to finish fighting Craig today." Just thought, and so we get finally a couple of the characters that their powers that we really hadn't seen finally get used. And basically they end up saving the day by Carmine basically taking out all the defractolators poles and stuff like that, destroying it, and basically the whole castle gets sucked into this wormhole, and they end up surviving and winning. And then after that happens, we get that kind of great like news footage where they're talking, say, we want to thank all the great people, for what's going on, all the firemen and the policemen and stuff like this and stuff like that. We had to do what we had to do kind of deal. And everyone's proud. Lucille is proud of the shoveler, sees that, that he saved the day, and Blue Raja's mother's, happy for him, and like, oh, Jeffrey. And basically they save the day, and that is the end of the film. And they kind of walk away like, oh, we're going to call ourselves the Super Dudes or something like that. It's like, no. We haven't decided on a name yet, folks. And that's pretty much how the film ends. So my thoughts for you guys, my next question. What did you think about all the cameos in the film? What did you think about kind of the last portion of the film? What did you think about the weapons that they designed for the film? Did you think those were dumb? Did you think those were cool? Did you think that they were different from anything you had seen before? did you not understand that this was supposed to be more reality based versus, you know, DC or Marvel universe? And kind of your thoughts, just kind of like on that latter portion of the film. Let's start with you, Andres.
Oh, cool. Yeah. The weapons are pretty awesome. I think I guess the villains and the heroes' weapons they display in this film is pretty spectacular. I love the fact that the inventor creates non-lethal weapons. Doc Heller, and I think he creates really good, really cool looking weapons, and that are efficient for the heroes. And then the bad guys, weapons, particularly the Disco Boys with their like fancy guns, were really pretty cool. And I also thought that what was the other question, Jeff? Cyber. Besides the weapons, was cool.
Don't ask me, motherfucker. You're competing with me. I'm trying to fuck you up.
I'm talking Cyber, not Jeff. I'm sorry.
Well, you said Jeff first, so that confused me.
Don't ask me for help. I'm not helping you, bitch.
Cyber, sorry. What was the other question besides the weapons?
What'd you think about the cameos? What did you think about the rest of the film?
Yeah, the rest of it. Well, the cameos, like some cameos, I get. Like Dan Cook, like he's a comedian.
There you go. You get to be over there. You get to be in the big circle now.
Okay, I look pretty cool. Look at me. Anyway,
baby face.
Oh god,
we're gonna need a new name for you now that you've got such a big dong. We're gonna have to figure something out.
Dr. Don. I can definitely take that. Anyway. Dr. Dog.
Yes, sir. I could definitely see Cyber calling you Dr. Dog.
Yes, I think I can definitely dig with that. Anyway, so the cameos were very fun to see. I seen the film like bits, and so I already knew the Dan Cook one, but I totally forgot that Doug Jones was in this movie. He's such a fantastic actor. He plays Abe Sapien and the Guillermo del Toro films of Hellboy, and of course Star Trek Discovery, and of course Shape of Water. Like, he's a fantastic actor, and I cannot believe he was the penciler head guy, which is great. And the one cameo that I was like, what the hell, he's here, is Michael Bay himself as the frat boy. I was laughing. I was like, really? And it makes sense because the director did some music videos. I don't know, he's a fan of Michael Bay during the time when he was making music videos as well. If people don't know where Michael Bay began, because he came from where David Fincher did. Like, he was from the big company that did the music videos, like David Fincher, him, and some other filmmakers. That's how you usually got the start. Just like Zack Snyder, he was a music video before he did films. Yeah, so the cameos were all cool. Like, apparently Sean Conn from the Fast and Furious, who plays Han, is in this film. So I thought the cameos were really awesome to see. I mean, again, that's something I kind of miss now. It's like back in the 90s when you had those cameos, it was so crazy because you know them, because they were friends of the actors who were starring the film, so that was really great. Now the whole section of the film, like during the superhero contenders to join the team, it was great to see the bowler. She's my favorite character. I think her humor is the best in the film because it's just so funny and so out there, which is great. Like, she's so deadpan, especially when she talks to Mr. F. And like, they have really good chemistry because, as I think Gunnar or Cyber said before, they were dating before, which I didn't know that. I just knew that they worked together in the one film that he directed, Reality Bites, starring Ethan Hawke and Winona Ryder.
And Cable Guy, which he directed also.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and the Cable Guy. Yeah. That's crazy, too, that he did that as well. He's a good director, Mr. F. He's really great. Yeah, and that was really funny. And, oh, my God, Paul Rubens, fantastic. I love Paul Rubens. He is the best part of this film. He's the MVP. Like the splints is so funny. He has this accent. It's so weird. It's like, hey, wait a minute. You are doing a recruitment. It's just so great. And Doctor Time. Yes, thank you, Cyber Doctor Time Cop. Yes, that's my new superhero name. Anyway, Paul Rubens was great. I mean, because remember, he was in really bad shape during the '90s because of the scandal thing, whatnot. It was great that this director got him to be in the film here, so he was really a great addition to that. Um, I don't know what you guys think about this. The Mister the Visible what's his name? Kel Mitchell. I grew up watching Key and Kel, and I do like him. I do like his humor. I know that it could not be for you guys. I grew up watching his show, and I really like him. I think he brings some heart and innocence to this film, which is good. So I really dug. So those three characters are like my favorite because I thought those characters really had really great chemistry and around the film.
But one thing, Andre, you got to answer one question.
Sure.
Who loves orange soda?
I do. That's the reason I love orange juice, because of that show.
Love it, man. Love it, man.
Yes.
Love it, man.
Oh my god, yeah. I just love that show, and so it's great that he's in this movie. I love him. He's my favorite actor in child program and all that. Yeah.
You see this? We got a new title going on for your channel, brother. It might work out for you.
big D Time Lord. Oh my god. This is keep going along, folks. I gotta enjoy this now. Yeah, so then after that, the death of Captain America was so obvious. Like, he was so stupid. He was like, okay, do this, and then when he started to get frustrated with the mystery man, it's so hilarious. He just now starts to mock them, and it's so crazy. I was like, yep, this is his doom, and that's his fault, because his ego got the best of him in the film, because he's so desperate to be still famous and still get the sponsors and all that, so that's his fault. So I don't blame the Mystery Man killing him. I think he was a very dumb superhero. But yeah, so after that, yeah, and then of course, the Mystery Man getting trained by the what was it, the Splint, I the West Stewart character, the Spinks. Really great addition to the cast. He was really funny. I like how he's straightforward. The guy from The Last Bohemians. Really great, fun.
Good point.
Part of the film that really adds to the frustration for Mr. F. It was great how he teaches them and all that. Like, that was really fun. And yeah, and then I agree with everyone here. Like, when Mr. F leaves the team and he goes with the mole rat actress, I don't care. It's like, it's so stupid. Like, it was so, like, again, I say before, they had to cut a lot of scenes from the film, and they cut their relationship really up from this film. Like, you don't get their, like, this full time to develop their relationship, because in the when we're in the third and climax, when Dr. Doom comes back to the scene, he all of a sudden has her. Like, it was so weird. Like, I didn't see it scene where he gets one of his henchmen gets her. Like, we didn't get that scene, so it was so bizarre. All of a sudden, the Dr. Doom himself got the supposed love interest of Mr. F. That really threw me off. I was like, wow. So I agree with Gunnar and like everyone else. We had to.
I know. No other movie we've ever reviewed has ever used a trope like that ever. It's never happened.
Yeah. Like, and even we've seen superhero films do that. They do it well because we spend time with them. It was just like, wow, just completely like nonsense. Like it was out of nowhere. Yeah. So and then of course we'll get into the ending. Really great. I love that the heroes get the recognition they deserve. I like how the lady say who's these mystery men. So that was cool that we got the name drop right there. I really dug that the wife of the sufferer accepted his superior thing. It was great. At least she was not annoying. She was a really like reasonable mother, because she's making really good points, and I agree with her that it was kind of silly, but I really appreciate that she recognized that, and like it's like, oh, you actually did something good. And I really like her. I thought they did a really good job of depicting like parents, like marriage like that really well. But yeah, so overall, I really dug this film. I enjoy it. It's not perfect, but and addressing the comedy, you can see these actors' comedy so well. Like if you know them, like if you've seen Pee Wee's Big Adventure, like his show, or some of their movies, like Mr. Ant's movies, like There's Something About Mary, or Cable Guy, as Gunnar brought up. Like it's all quiet taste from us. Like I like Paul Rubens' humor, the Bowler's humor. So this movie is quiet taste, but also ahead of the time. Like this was the Kick-Ass of the '90s, which is really great because it really delves into the tropes and all the cliches of superhero, which is great. But does it do it successfully? It's up to you guys to think about that. And I was really sad it did not perform well, because I think what I heard was the marketing. Like the studio did not market this film as big as like some of the Temple movies. That's why it really flopped, because I mean, because Cyber brought up it had positive reviews and people did like it. It was just no one knew that this film was coming out, So that's really a shame. And unfortunately, it has been still today. Like there's some films that still get that treatment.
Sir, I'm deducting 50,000 points from you right now from the panel for
Why?
going two past 60-minute man to 67-minute man mark. Contribution.
Well, Jeff, to end this note, I was trying to be 60-minute man again. I thought it'd be a long time since I'd gone over 60 minutes, but whatever, who cares? So that's all I had to say. I really enjoyed this film. I mean, if you like these actors and their humor, they're top notch. I really dug this.
All right, thank you, sir. Aston, your thoughts, sir?
You see how despondent Cyber is coming off of Andre's 67-minute bullshit or whatever? Cyber's like, Aston. Okay.
I mean, as for the despondency, hey man, I might have overspoken the private chats, man. I might have brought people down, man. But I love all you guys, man. It's like you're all wild cards, and I love just being in the presence of y'all, man. Pause. But yeah, I'm loving it. As for the latter part, the one scene I didn't touch on earlier, do y'all remember when Jeffrey Rush's character was looking at his reflection and taking a leak?
Yeah.
That was so well done, because he like shifts right. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can get away with that in the urinal. Shifts, left. I'm like, okay. This dude sidesteps. I'm like, yo, and he ain't missing drop. And then you see the little cherub with, pissing in the fountain. That was like the movie is so chock full of these sort of little moments. And the latter part, I feel, didn't deliver as many of them. Like, I'm going to have to go with what Andre said. Like, they grabbed the girl, but even them hooking up with the, oh, just be you part, like it felt so like, I get maybe they're making fun of like the classic tropes and stuff, but to me I was like, come on, man, this is like, you got so much great guys here that you guys could have put something together, and it's just crazy. Like it's crazy to me to think how this came out in 1999, right? So the only real superhero movies prior to this were the Burton trilogy and Blade. If we're gonna be real honest about it, like we didn't really have all that many good superhero movies, because like we were coming off Batman Forever and maybe Batman and Robin, which I got love for it, but not too much. And for me, it's just a little crazy, because the movie for me, like this is where I'm gonna have to be like a douche. It's like it gets kind of incrementally worse. Like it keeps getting worse and worse, because like the payoffs don't hit. Nothing, like the jokes don't land as well as they did in the earlier parts. The pacing does seem like it drags a little bit towards the end, and then all of a sudden, boom, we got this big final finale. Oh damn. I'm hearing that I got static on my vocals, so I'm gonna
You're
just
okay.
wrap it
No,
up.
no, no. Finish up and wrap up. You're fine.
Oh, okay, okay. So moments which really did land it towards the end part were, I would say, because I also saw the deleted scenes, like they definitely should have put them in because it does add a little something to making these characters a little more. The best scene for me, which kind of resonated, the two best scenes were Lucille and Raja's mom. Like the way she gave him like the cutlery, the silverware and everything, and like she was supporting him in the end. To me, that was crazy. And I liked it because I'm like, okay, you're giving us a little character development here. We're going to feel more for these guys. And I just wish I had a couple of more gags going towards the end. The Waffler Man, the tryouts, like, can't none of us tell us that we were not at some awkward party like that? We've all been at that exact party at least 5 times in our lives growing up. We're like, we don't want to be here, but like we got to be here, whether it's a jobs thing or like we're being cool for the cousin, doing our best man a friend like a favor. Like we all been there, and that they encapsulated it so well. Shout out to PMS Avenger because that was something else. The way, for example, Casanova Frankenstein. Jeffrey Rush's character, like he just naturally plays the douchebag, but he does it in such a sophisticated way that, again, like I'm gonna have to like piggyback of what Andre said, because the marketing for this back, like what little I remember from back in the day, it wasn't really pushed that much, and what was pushed was sort of this more humoristic sort of superhero take, and I'm thinking it's gonna be more adult humor. You know, like Kel Mitchell is hilarious. He can do not just Keenan and Kel stuff. Like he is hilarious. And I feel Paul Rubens. I mean, you had Pee Wee. They gave him a shot after he had come off a scandal, like 5 years. Like Eminem has literally, like Eminem owes him money. How many times he made fun of this dude in his music videos? But you had all these guys, and the latter part, I feel personally, they should have leaned into that more because it's a PG-13. You could get away with a lot more racier jokes with that staff. The one character that I didn't like at all towards at the end was the bowler, because the way she was like kind of talking back and forth with the ball and stuff. Like I get it. I just feel Janine can do a lot better and be a little funnier. Like we've all seen it. So all in all, if I had to give this movie like a rating, like off the latter part.
We haven't done ratings yet.
Sorry, then I'm not going to give it a rating. I'll just say the latter part is not as good as the first part. The setup was way better than the payoff, in my opinion. So, sorry for the staticky vocals on that one. My bad.
Excellent, thank you. Jeffrey, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, everybody, you know, I want to save stuff for Gunner, and everybody's already talked a lot about what already happens, you know, in this part of the film. What I'll say, yes, let me switch over and go ahead and put myself in the I like me to right here in this top spot anyway. This is my spot. But no, basically, you know, Jeffrey Rush was really good in the film overall. I did enjoy him. What I was trying to say earlier was essentially just that I didn't feel like overall the ensemble, they were trying to, I think, to play the ensemble aspect of the casting, and it didn't play to me. But there are some individual characters that are well played. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Janine Garofalo, but I liked her bowler character. I didn't really understand that whole deal. Was her bowling ball like possessed by like a demon or some shit?
Her father.
Or whatever. Is that
It was her father.
Yeah.
Okay. That was her father?
It's her father's skull that's in the bowling ball.
The Mr. Something about Mary called himself Phoenix Dark. Are you fucking kidding me?
Phoenix Dark.
Phoenix Dark. Come on, Dark. Come on, bro.
It's hilarious.
And And wait a minute. What, like legit.
Just like White Vision penis.
Even at the end, when he fights the Tom Waits, like, whatever the fuck his name is, villain or whatever, right? He fights like a pussy. It takes him like 5 minutes to fight that dude. I know how to fight. I would have fought that dude and fucking beat his ass and fucking straightened his ass out in like less than a minute. There wouldn't have been no 5 minute scrap, right? Like I wouldn't have been a little pussy like that. I would have fucked his ass up. So little taste of the real world being brought to the film. He even looked like a little bitch when he was supposed to look tough. He just didn't look good. And as far as like G. Garofalo goes, the fact that like she's the best character out of the whole movie for me because she has a fucking bowling ball that is her father's fucking stuck in it or whatever is fucking stupid, bro. It is stupid. Like seriously, bro. Talk about whack. All right. I never thought I was gonna have to drop an actual potential 2 or 1.5 on the rating of a film. But since Aston already was trying to rate the movie already, I'm gonna add. No, I'm just kidding. I'll save my rating until Cyber lets me know I can go ahead and rate the movie. But in the meantime, Greg Kinnear's character sucks. He starts off good and then just sucks and then dies or whatever. And overall, the final battle is fucking like pussy mode. You got one dude that like his superpower is throwing like spoons and forks at people and shit, right? The shovel dude, okay, his superpower is a shovel. All right, I mean, enough said. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the formula of this shit does not play to me. There were some good standout acting performances, but I did not find the film entertaining. I would rather watch RoboCop Vampire 3 than ever watch Mystery Men again. That's all I have to say. My rating is going to be very poor, very bad. So there we go. Let's do it. Gunner, what's up, baby? Let's do it.
What's up, man? You ready for me? I mean,
God.
Everything's pretty much been said, so I'm just going to point out a couple things. Another great part that no one's talked about was when they first met up with the Disco Boys, and Ben Stiller called Praj Tiger Lily. That was hilarious. But man, like, what else can we say? This movie's great. There's a couple movies that came out around the same time. Actually, there's 2 of them written by James Gunn. I don't know if you ever saw The Specials or Super. There are 2 other movies kind of similar in this vein. I've always just think this movie is so smart and so great. Yeah, everything's been said. Great cameos, but if you watch this for the first time, and I would have told you in less than a decade the biggest star in this movie is going to be the Waffler, you would have called me crazy. But Dane Cook became the biggest star in the world for about a year and a half. So it's kind of funny seeing. I mean, this is years before he became a household name, and so that's cool. And of course, going in the greatest explanation of a film, a mute makes love to a fish man. That's all you got to say. Who wouldn't want to see that movie? This movie's great. Everyone said it because, love it. Love it.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Ratings, people. Starting with you, Gunner.
What are we rating out of a 5 or a 10 or what are we doing?
1 out of 10.
Look, man, you're going to call me crazy. I'm going to say a 9 to a 9.5. I love this movie. I can veg out and just take myself back and just laugh. Just laugh and get it. Be like, I get it. You people, my wife who's sitting on the couch looking at me like I'm an idiot for watching this movie, you don't get it. I get it. I rule. That's what I'm going to say.
That's why he's the hammer, folks.
Yep.
Andres,
you do roll.
Rating.
Sure. 8 out of 10. I thought it was good. I fairly enjoy it. For just for the aesthetic of it, I mean, like again, the production side of this was awesome. If you've seen the four Batman films from '89 to the '97 film, this has that like the very. I just like how they build up that city, the sea city. It's so spectacular. I missed that. That's one of the reasons I love the new Batman movie from Matt Reeves is because he made the Gotham City look more fantastical than the Dark Knight trilogy where they were showing Chicago and all that. And the score by Shirley Walker. I again love Shirley Walker. So sad she's not with us as she passed, but great composer who did the Final Destination films and did the cartoon show of Batman the Animated Series. Really great score. I highly recommend people to listen to that and this film. And the song we didn't bring up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that the first of 3 movies to all feature Smash Mouth's All Star. This was the first of 3, and the music video directed by Kinka Usher.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Smash Mouth song here, All Star. I know my generation and everyone like we all associated that with Shrek because Shrek made that so big, but no, this film was that, and they used it fairly amount in this film. I was shocked about
and
that.
Rat Race. It was in Rat Race too.
Oh yes, it was in Rat Race. I remember that. Love that movie. It was so funny.
Starring the British Pee Wee Herman, Mr. Bean.
Yeah. So yeah, I really enjoy it, and I dug the comedy. I mean, look, the comedy hits when it hits, but if it misses, it misses, and that's fine. So I give it an 8 out of 10.
All right, Aston.
Okay, for me, my rating is gonna be. I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10. I'm sorry. The setup was great. So much talent. Great soundtrack. It has all the pieces to have been better. And I just have to, because just knowing what they could have done, like just Hank Azaria alone, if you left him in a room with the writer for a week, could have, I felt, done a little bit more. And there's a reason I feel this guy never did another feature film, another motion picture, like after this movie. The guy Kincho, whatever, he went back to doing commercials. The highlight, it would have been a 4 if it didn't have the Corvette limo and Eddie Izzard. Like, it's a 5 out of 10 for me, meaning it's not bad, it's not good, it's passable. Would I ever watch this with somebody, no, I would never rewatch this again. It's a rental, not a purchase. That's my thing. My 5, it's 5 out of 10. I'm sorry.
Jeffrey?
I'm going with a 3, a strong 3. Never rewatch it again. And thank God. My experience with this movie is over. I have nothing good to say about it. It is utterly garbage. Just straight toast. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, I'd rather watch The Acolyte. I can masturbate to The Acolyte compared to this movie. All right?
All right. So I'm completely opposite of everyone, except for Gunner. And Andres is a little bit in that direction. I give it a 10. It's one of my favorite movies. I have the 4K. I think that it's an utter masterpiece from beginning to end. It has everything that I find entertaining. And like I always say, if I find it entertaining, it gets a giant 10. You can nitpick all you want at little things and that and stuff like that, which to me just does not say entertainment or movie. Because movies, like I always say, are made for entertainment. It was always made not to be nitpicked because people just don't like something. And I mean, you look back at movies from the early 1900s. Let me tell you, those are masterpieces too, even though that they have the most unusual effects that you could think of. Trip to the Moon, 1903, one of the best fucking films ever. So, entertainment is entertainment. You're not gonna, some are gonna like it, some aren't gonna like it. I get it. But at the same time, still, if you don't understand it, I get why you wouldn't like it. But at the same time, too, if it entertains you, it entertains you. So that's why I give it a 10. All right. So I'm going to push it over to you, Jeff.
You know how I like to rate those busted up bitches like S10s and shit and whatnot when I'm real drunk in the dark and shit, right? They're like a 10 to me. You know what I mean?
I think all bitches are 10s to you, sir, because you just don't care. Anyways, I'll push it over to you and take us out.
Not true, sir. Some basic standards are required. The unit has to be able to get hard for things to be able to to go into action. So, all right. So, Aston, I don't know what to plug for you. You got to connect with me and let me know what you want me to plug. But I'll start with you, Gunner, since it's your first time back on the show in again over a year, and I'll go over to your podcast. If you give me 2 seconds, we have to go back. And the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Well, let me do this. I'm not going to plug anything. You can go to wideopenmic.net. So I'm going to say, can I give you a scoop? Can I give you a scoop, Jeff? An Acolyte scoop. I've been staying so far away from Acolyte, but I figured it out. And I'm going to give it to you. All right? Chimere. Everyone's saying it's going to be, Darth Plagueis. It's going to be that. No. You want to know who it is? It's going to be Darth Xana. Do you know what Darth Xana is? She was Darth Bane's apprentice. And at the end of the third Darth Bane book, he tried to do a transfer essence where he enters her body, and they were fighting, and it kind of ended, and Darth Bane's body just disappeared. So they ended ambiguously. So you don't know if Darth Bane took over her body or if she defeated Darth Bane. But I think it's going to end up that she defeated Darth Bane. She learned how to transfer her essence, and that's how she keeps living. And she is living inside of the guy from The Good Place's body. And that's why, look, I'm not a fan of Leslie Headland for all the crap she keeps saying, like, oh, the Acolyte is the gayest Star Wars ever. Because I'll tell you what, it's not been that gay, to be honest. Rise of Skywalker was way more gay. So I don't know where she's saying that. Yeah, there was one lesbian couple in it. That's all we've gotten so far. But I think Darth Xana is going to be inside, is going to be transferred the essence, and she is living all these years, and now she's living as Chimera. I think that's going to come out. There's my Acolyte scoop. I'm giving it to you guys.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Wideopenmic.net.
Most definitely. Cyberneticshark, sir. You are next. Let me pull you up. And you're on.
As always, folks, if you enjoy my moderating and you enjoy me on the panel, you can check out my solo content. You'll find me under Cyberneticshark. You'll find all kinds of different stuff on there, from trailer reactions to movie reviews, all that kind of good stuff. And you see my most recent review there, or trailer reaction, is the Paddington and Peru film coming out in November, along with the Smile 2 trailer as well. I'll be having some more trailers and reviews up for you guys soon. I will have a Quiet Place Day 1 review up soon as well. I just went and saw that the other day. Not what I expected from the Quiet Place series, but definitely interesting. Not too shabby. And as you can see there, my Mystery Men mini review's up, so check that out as well. And just recently rewatched all the American Pie, so that's why those are up there.
Me too. I just finished. Why am I on the American Reunion right now? How weird. What a small world.
Small world, yeah. Enjoyed rewatching them. They're funny movies, great still. 25 years later, the first one is great. But all around, American Wedding will always be my favorite one. Freaking Stifler dance scene is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, if you haven't checked me out, definitely check it out. Subscribe if you like, and all that good stuff. Yep. And check out my Patreon. Get some extra funny things there, some bloopers and stuff. Check it out.
We got to review one of the American Pie films at some point. That would be fun. All right, on to the pop culture guys. Sir.
Yep.
You would be next.
Thank you. Well,
ACER, on to the pop culture guy. Big swinging D, motherfucker.
Thank you. Dr. Don in the house, sir. Hello, folks. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy. Just want to say thank you to the two guests here, Gutter and Austin. It was great to see you guys and meet you guys first time. It was a pleasure. Really fun today. Yeah, so I recently posted a small video of Planet of the Apes, one of my favorite franchise. Just cheaper to it. I recently posted yesterday Beverly Hills Cop's 40th anniversary because the movie came out on July 3rd. Tomorrow, I'm working on it now in the background on my top 10 favorite Richard Donner films. If you don't know who's Richard Donner, he's a filmmaker who did the very first Superman film, Christopher Reeve. He did the classics of Lethal Weapon, The Goonies, and of course the great horror film, The Omen. So I'm gonna do that. So because his birthday was today, so I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Sunday, Jeff and first time coming to my channel, Cyber, gonna do a live stream review of Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire film, Sam Raimi film, for his 20th anniversary this year. So please check that out for Sunday, 9 Eastern. Not gonna tell what time, but probably 9:35. Hopefully, why not? Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and I'm up to Jeff. I don't know how many subscribers I got. I think I'm still in the same 973. Please help me reach the one mark.
974.
Nice. Okay, so it just went up probably today. So yeah, please help me achieve the 100 mark and yeah, get that rolling.
You're gonna hit 1,000 before the end of the year, bro.
Yeah, no worries.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's there's no doubt about it. Hey, thanks to everybody that came out. Like Andre said, Cyber, thank you, sir. Great job moderating as always. Aston, appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, bro. Thanks for helping me work with you with the audio stuff, and we'll get that straightened out. Andre's a pop culture guy, sir. I will see you on Monday. Well, I'll see you on Sunday, and then I'll see you on Monday for House of the Dragon episode 4. Gunner, Hammer Time. Good to see you again, brother. Long time no see.
Yeah, man, I'll be back.
How's it feel to be back in the game?
Yeah, man.
How does it feel to be back in the game? Does it feel good to be back on the Bleeding Edge?
I missed you guys. I haven't really done anyone's show. I did one person show. I was late. I felt bad. I showed up like 40 minutes late. It was an old friend of yours, so I felt bad. But
well, it was good to see you, brother. All right, folks.
Yeah,
we love you. Next week, The Acolyte, episode, I believe, 6, right? If I'm correct, on that Wednesday, 9:35 p.m. Eastern, 6:35 p.m. Pacific. That's right. The first entry of the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. Next Friday, 9:35 p.m. Eastern. Aston will be here. Andres will be here. Cyber will be here. It'll be dope. We'll have other guests on. And besides that, like I said, House of the Dragon on Monday, episode 4, over by Jermaine at Fantasy is Reality at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Besides that, God bless you. Belated happy 4th of July. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time? Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and read it, you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't